All right, guys, how's it going? Welcome back to All for United. This is a post-match reaction. United have lost against Leipzig, 3-2, and we are now out of the Champions League. In our most important game of the season, United got it wrong completely. From minute 1 to minute 94, we didn't start with the right lineup. We didn't start with the right personnel. We didn't start with the right type of personnel. I said at the start of the game, United needed better midfield. We needed a progressive player in the midfield.
Yeah.
Wasn't there. We needed someone who could bring the ball from our defence to the attack. That wasn't there. The defence let us down today. Plenty of defensive errors. And we also had chances in the second half. There was hope in the second half that we could have done it, and we had the chances to do it. But in the end, I think all of us can agree we didn't deserve to go through. And deservedly, we're not through, and we'll be playing on Thursday nights from now on. Joining me on the post-match reaction is Joe, Mark, and Barry. Guys in the comments, get involved. Let us know what you think. I can assume what kind of comments are going to be coming in, but let us know anyway. Yeah. If you're watching on other platforms, get on YouTube, All for United. We recently hit 1.6k subscribers, so head over to YouTube and continue to support us. Anyway, Joe, thoughts?
Yeah, my biggest fucking issue, is something that we've all said at some point, but most recently Mark has said on the previous show is we need to start the fucking game. We need to actually begin a game when the opposition begins, not 25 minutes in when we realize, oh, let's actually start playing now. They've had their chance to play football. Let's play football now. We're 1-0 down. Now we'll play. Why didn't, from word go, we were at them? Why were they so electric? Why were they so positive? Why were they just an actual fucking Champions League football team? Well, we just sat back and were lethargic, were wayward passing, no forward balls that were going anywhere. We had one chance after a 1-0 down through Greenwood. And then after that, it took until about the 35th minute before the lads woke up and went, hey, we're actually in a football game. Let's go for it. We're 2-0 down, but let's go for it. Utterly, I don't understand it. But it's not even just today's game. It's the past. Like we always go on. Our away record is great. Blah 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 blah. We go 1-0 down. We got this great fighting spirit. This is what happens when you're at Champions League level. When the team you're playing against mightn't be a better team on paper, but are a better coached and managed team, and are able to work with whatever situation they're put into. We were a shambles, and we did not deserve anything. We did not deserve. If we got that third goal, we would have. I don't believe we would have got through to the past the last 16. We never had a hope in this competition from the way we played today. It's so utterly frustrating that every time we take a step forward, it's 15 fucking steps back, and it just ages me watching this team. We don't deserve to be in this competition, and we're the perfect team to be knocked out of it. Absolute fucking disgrace.
Mark, where did it go wrong?
Yeah, I'm lost for words, really. I'm absolutely furious. It was in our hands, and we have completely fucked it. We've said this so many times, and we said this in the preview that we seem to start slow. We grow into the game, and it's always a bit too late. And it was only a matter of time before we come up against a side that's going to absolutely punish us for that. It was absolutely appalling. I felt that every player on the pitch was completely lethargic.
Yeah.
They didn't want to. It looked as though they weren't interested in actually getting anything out of it. I think you're absolutely right, Joe, and Karthik, and I'm sure Barry will say the same. We set up completely wrong. I actually was quite happy with the starting 11, but we kind of knew that Ollie would set up with two defensive midfielders, and this is a game where we don't want to be pragmatic. We want to be going at them, and we want to be pushing the ball forward. Now, you cannot categorically, unequivocally do that with McTominay and Matic. So it is. I mean, we've undone ourselves, really, and it was appalling, and I'm very, very disappointed. I feel that whilst the players are very much to blame, I feel that the coaches, against Brighton, against Chelsea, against Arsenal,
Yeah. Before I go to Barry, who I'm sure will have some interesting things to say, I'm just going to quickly go respond to some of the comments. So keep them coming. Yeah, well summed up here. You can't keep playing Russian roulette and expect for the chamber to come up empty time and time again.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say Ole out? No, but you can criticize him today. I mean, it's not safe and it's not unsafe. It's just an opinion that you have. Pathetic fullbacks. I mean, it told from the way that Ole took them all off. Fair enough. Tactically inept in Europe. Looks like it. I saw another comment here. There you go. Don't want to hear anything about a decent second half. The only reason we looked better was because Leipzig were 2-0 up and didn't need to attack. Had it still been level, Leipzig would have dominated.
And
yes,
I don't even think it was a decent second half, if I'm being honest. I think
no, it was a decent 15 minutes, and because I wouldn't say it was just because Leipzig were 2-0 up and didn't need to attack. We changed the shape and it worked, but then what happened was they changed in response, and then they continued to dominate the game. That's what happened. The period of the game that we played well in the second half was between 45 and 60. And that's when we'd switched to the diamond. And then they brought on Poulsen and Kluivert, and then they took hold of the game again. And last one before I go to Barry. Defense is not our strength. Why did Ollie take a defensive approach? Well, that's why. If your defense is not your strong suit, you put more defenders in, so you protect yourself a bit more. That is the theory behind it. So that is his reasoning. Anyway, keep the comments coming. Make sure to like the video while you're here. Barry, I'll come to you now. Talk to me. What do you feel, and where do you think it went wrong, and what could we have done? Well, everyone's here saying we set up incorrectly. How should we have set it up?
Well, I think a lot of people, when they were predicting the lineups, predicted 3-5-2. Joe, you will have noticed I did not want a 3-5-2. I would rather have gone for the 4-3-3. But if you look at the 3 goals we conceded, it was like the Keystone Cops in defense. They were absolutely abysmal defensive errors, all 3 of them. Now, you've got their left back who's the top scorer. The guy had half a field of space to get the ball in. Wan-Bissaka was in no man's land for the first goal. And I mean, you've got 5 guys at the back. The disarray was laughable. And I say it again, we've got no leadership on the field and we've got no leadership off the field. And I think that we can criticize Ollie tonight. But an observation I made in the first half, United were completely static. There was no movement. Nobody was running off the ball. Nobody was making space. Just tactically pathetic, especially in the first half. Do you blame the players? Do you blame the coaching staff? I don't know. But it was an embarrassment to watch. But it goes deeper rooted than this, because we're out of the Champions League because we put up an abysmal performance in Istanbul. That's where where it counts, because that put all the pressure on us tonight. And it was tonight, frankly, it was an embarrassment. There was complete disarray on the field, and his substitutions. I mean, the defenders that came on, Fosu-Mensah, Williams, they were absolutely atrocious. We cannot play the ball out from the back. Surely this is something that needs to be worked on the coaching field. And I echo what Joe said, although I won't use expletives as Joe did, because in South Africa we're more polite than the Irish are. But it's tactically inept, and it is so frustrating to watch. So frustrating. So Thursday nights, here we come again. And my recommendation when watching United is have a large bottle of whiskey with a straw next to you.
Can I ask you something? Because I was going to text you, especially in the first half, and because I could not understand the reasoning of, because Wan-Bissaka seemed to have been told to stay more central than he usually is. I couldn't understand why he was being so tight to the centre forwards, or being so close to the centre backs, rather than being played wide for seemingly the entirety of the first half. Why? What can you give me a reasoning for why that is?
Potentially, it could have been to cover. Maybe he wanted, I don't know, maybe he wanted a bit more aggression from the centre backs on either side. So traditionally, if you want one of your centre backs to step up and win the ball, you want a cover from your fullback. So if you play to the back five, in theory, your right wing back's going to do that. And it could be. We were discussing in the group chat earlier that his positioning was off. So maybe just to avoid getting dragged out, perhaps he was given the instruction to narrow off and just focus on that for a little bit rather than get dragged out and be left in behind and have to make those recoveries. But I think, I'll come to all of you and see what you think. But I do want to talk about the setup because there is going to be a lot of talk on that. I put it out in the tweet and I said in the lineup reaction, an interesting talking point would be how big of a part was Paul Pogba in the original plan? I think that's an important question to ask because that lineup was screaming for an advanced playmaker, someone who's going to progress the ball forward. And how much was that affected by Mino Raiola's comments in the last 24 hours? Now, I was watching the game with a mate at home, and he said, legally, of course, and he said that. He asked me, so what if an agent comes out and speaks? Well, what does it matter? How does that impact the player? And I said, well, before a very crucial game in your season and a player that is more than likely going to start the game due to injuries and also suspension of Fred, if his agent is coming out and saying he doesn't want to be at that club, it only takes one player in that squad to turn around and go, well, hang on a minute, he doesn't want to be here, and his agent saying he wants to leave. Why is he starting ahead of me? Yeah. It only takes one player to say, well, why is he starting? I don't want a player that's not committed to our cause. So, and as a manager, if he had started Pogba today and he played badly, imagine the stick you would have got for that. Yeah. We'd be sitting here and talking about, well, he has no spine. So I'd love to know what the original plan was. And if it was the case that Pogba was meant to start alongside either McTominay or Matic, and we ended up having to take him out because of the comments made, why wasn't Van der Beek the instant entry of that replacement?
I'm not happy with what's happened with Pogba over the last 24 hours, but I think he was damned if he did and damned if he didn't. Unfortunately, it didn't work out very well for us. Now, if it had been the flip side and we'd actually got a draw or win tonight, this wouldn't be a conversation. So it would have been, I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing. I've said this so many times, and it would have been great to know why he wasn't in the side. I can understand why he wasn't in the side, but you're absolutely right. If you're not playing Pogba to play progressive football, you start with Donny van der Beek, either 100%. One of those. And it's just a shame that it's been tainted, really. It wasn't good timing. But, it is what it is. And unfortunately, we're just going to have to deal with that over the next few days.
But I completely agree. Sorry, go on, Murray.
Like with most of these things, we'll never know what the original plan was. We'll never know whether he planned to put him in. If the question even gets asked to him, I'm not sure that we'll get an honest answer. I would just like to think that if Pogba is done with the club, the manager should have left him out no matter what. And he should be training with the youth team for the rest of his time until he leaves. So this kind of sends out a bit of a mixed message. You either start him or he doesn't play. So I'm not quite sure where that's coming from. Yeah. And I absolutely agree with these lads. If that was the plan, then you put Donny in the team. But again, having said that, if all these comments from the agent and that unsettle the squad, they're professionals, man. Move on. Get involved in the game. You can't use that as an excuse. And
no, completely.
Tonight, I don't know that there was anybody who did justice to the Man United shirt tonight. I don't know that there was anyone.
I mean, the comments are agreeing. Matic and McTominay is a poor holding too. It is, and what made me even consider that question is Ollie has never played as much as I can remember. He's never played those two in the same pivot. He never does that. So what baffles me is if his plan was Pogba, why has he gone straight to McTominay and Matic? Why wasn't it, Donny?
This is another thing for me, just very quickly. Sorry, Joe. No, okay. I feel the commentators touched upon this during the game. And I do feel that there isn't any stability within the team. That, every week we get a relatively different, the same formation but with different players, and it really does cause an issue. And I feel like, that they are trying to spend the first sort of 20-30 minutes trying to become accustomed to how they're playing, the positioning, and what there's being asked of them, and that's not right. And I saw a comment from the Green Devil. He's absolutely right. It's not all on the players. I really believe that the coaching staff really need to have questions asked, because they're setting up poorly. They don't know what they're doing. Different players in different positions. We said the other day on the preview, square pegs and round holes and all that jazz, and it's really bitten us on the arse tonight.
Yeah, I heard what you meant. I heard the commentary. Sorry?
Yeah. Coaching staff should have intervened after the first few minutes, because we were in complete disarray, and they allowed it to continue. Total disarray.
Yeah, I heard what Mark was referring to. If for some reason, I mean, I know Barry doesn't get the same commentator, so I'll say what he was talking about. It was half time, I think. Paul Scholes was speaking about different systems, and maybe they're not used to it.
Commentators, yeah.
There you go. So
Sorry,
my point on that is, I get what you're trying to say in terms of they have to adjust to a new system every week, and it is difficult, and they don't have a lot of time to work on it. But it's not as if they've not played in this formation before. It's not as if they've not played with each other before.
No,
and
but
it's not
when you've got different personnel, I do think it can make a huge difference. And you
but
see
I would say, like, the fact that you have Matic and McTominay starting for the first time, like I was going to answer that. Yeah, that puts up a lot of fucking question marks for me. Why, in such an important game, are you doing this? For me, I think when you put up that question earlier on, Cardick, I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, the fact that he had to pull Pogba from that game made me think, that's why he put the two of them together. I was like, why is he doing that? And it's only because he feels, I think anyway, he just needs to be secure of a draw. Because I think if he's playing two very conservative midfielders, I think in his head he's like, they're not going to really get by these guys. Do you know? We might concede, but we're not going to concede more than that. And then the whole game plan goes out the window in the first fucking 15 minutes when we're 2-0 down. So, yeah.
Well, if you think about it from a defensive point of view, we started 3 at the back, but we could turn into a back 5 plus 2 protecting them. I mean, that's 7 members of the team. And you allow 2 pathetic goals like that in the first half. It's laughable.
You're spot on, because the 2 midfielders were so easy to bypass. Leipzig's midfield is known for its agility, its speed, and its energy. Yep. So playing McTominay and Matic was always a 2-3 pass move. By the way, Temmy's in the comments. Tough night.
Hey, Temmy. Good to see you.
Missing you, Timmy.
Well, that's another thing as well. It always looked like we were swamped in the middle, where there was always an extra man by Leipzig. And I think if you were to, even Pogba to a certain extent, if you were to use someone like Van der Beek, he would hold on to the ball better. As we've already touched upon, he would be able to get the ball forward a bit better. But there would just be a little bit more of a quicker tempo. We would have had that extra man to be able to accommodate and battle against that midfield. That was our biggest problem tonight. Another thing that I just want to quickly touch upon is Luke Shaw. He's been out for several weeks. And I have absolutely no idea why. I mean, we were talking about it in the preview. The fact that, I mentioned about Luke Shaw, is he fit enough yet? Is he going to be there? And you all, including myself, categorically said, no chance. He's not going to be anywhere near the team. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to have him in the team, but when you've been out for 3 weeks, there was no way he was going to be able to come in, be up to match fitness, and do a good job when you're coming against a team like that.
But Mark, on that as well, okay, what absolutely boiled me was, I will, much like I imagine Kartik would say, I would always have Tellez ahead of Shaw, but always, all right? So you have Tellez, who is a lot, especially when you're 2 goals down at that point, so much more of an attacking threat, so much more, all right? And then you take him off at half-time, and you put Luke Shaw to left back, and then I'm like, first of all, I was like, why would you do that? Just put Alex Tellez left back, because you need him going forward. But then you take Luke Shaw off and put Brandon Williams, who is a less attacking threat than the 2 of them.
You are absolutely spot on. All of our substitutions tonight were counterintuitive, and we did not think about what was going forward and what was needed. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Obviously, Tellers going forward is much better. Luke Shaw, for me, still is better defensively. But when you are trying to chase a game,
who do you
are
want?
spot on.
Yeah,
you don't take Tellers off. Sorry,
you don't.
A lot of the comments I'm seeing at the minute, like this one from Green Devil, a lot of the comments are asking why we brought on defenders. We've just lost Barry.
Barry's just lost it.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll gloss over that. A lot of the comments are asking why we brought on defenders in a game that we needed to score. Well, because we were getting torn apart. You can't just ignore that and go, you know what, fuck it, we'll chuck another 2 forwards up. As a manager, you have to think about it and go, well, we're either going to lose 6-0 or we're going to try and, balance it out a little bit. So I can understand him making that move. However, they came a bit too late. That's the point I would make. You're right, Mark. Luke Shaw shouldn't have started. It should have been Axel. Simple as that.
Yeah,
I disagree with Barry because I thought Tuanzebe played very well when he came on. I thought there was only 2 errors that he made when he came on. But other than that, I don't think he was that bad. It was Timbo, the one that was struggling.
Yeah.
What was
See, when I got the actual lineup, I thought we were doing. I didn't think it was 3 at the back because I didn't think we'd have Luke Shaw in there. I thought he was playing left back and we were playing Alex Tellez further forward, so we're doing 4-3-3. So when I saw Luke Shaw playing centre left back with Tuanzebe on the bench, I was like, this doesn't make any sense to me because you have a natural centre back there who I feel is better than what you put in the first 11, and then you just do this. So again, there's so many fucking errors there.
Really quickly,
go ahead.
He did change the system. So what's your point? He did change the system while bringing on defenders. So he's done what a manager should in that situation, which is
but not bringing on defenders though. That's the thing.
He brought on the reason he had to bring on the defenders was because he took off the wrong left back, and he realised that. He realised that Luke Shaw wasn't giving him anything forward, and then he went, "Shit, I've got another left back. Chuck on Brandon." That's why he brought on 3 defenders.
We could have told him before the game that Luke Shaw was going to offer him nothing going forward. Do you know why buy Tellez for that reason? Because you want more assists, you want more attacking threat going forward from that position, and this is what happens.
The point is it's too late. That's what I would say.
Well,
I think another problem as well. Unfortunately, we were without Cavani and Martial tonight. Now, I'm not saying that they would have done anything different, but I feel like if you change the game up, they're very, very different players. It might have given us another outlet and a potential opportunity. I mean, the amount of I saw another comment earlier. The amount of corners and set pieces we had. Cavani would have been perfect for that. And I know he was injured, so you can't do anything about it. But again, I think that was, again, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I think that was a very unfortunate circumstance, and it would have been great to have either one of those.
But in the same way, Leipzig were missing up on Meccano, so...
Well,
So, swings and roundabouts.
I'm not Ole in and I'm not Ole out.
He's a Manchester United fan. Yeah.
So, I've never said I was Ole in. Well, I have supported the manager, yes, but I've not, never criticised him. I'm literally criticising him today. So we've got Barry back. All good, Barry? Can he hear us?
Yeah, he can. All right, Barry.
Right, we'll let Barry recover. Good point here.
Guys, sorry about that. Bad internet connection here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can. I'll let you answer this, Barry, because I think this is a good point. Not this one. This one. We had a 9 on the bench, Igalo. Now, obviously, he's not as good as the options we could have had. But in a game that we needed a striker, is there an argument to say maybe we should have brought him on?
Definitely. Good point. Absolutely. I think I certainly, I have to say, I missed on that one. And I would wholeheartedly agree. You're looking for a goal. He had something different. We looked... Rashford and Greenwood were so far apart from each other, and certainly they were getting very, very little service. They were coming, especially Greenwood was having to fall back to look for the ball. But it just was, tactically, it was all over the place. Absolutely all over the place.
Yeah, Mark and Joe, what do you reckon? Should he have come on? I mean, Temi agrees. He says he would have held the ball up. And I know Temi is a very big advocate of having a hold-up striker as well as someone who can run off him. especially at the end when we were chucking balls up into the box.
Look, yeah, I was going to say, like, if you're talking about just from, like, the last maybe 7-8 minutes of real time, yeah, just throw him up there because he's a strong player. He can hold it up. He can put his head on it. Maybe, I guess so. But, like, I think they kind of put Harry Maguire in that position, really, for the last couple of minutes. They just threw him up front. And I think the two of them would have been as effective as each other, I think.
Okay, fair.
Well, again, for me, I think it's not necessarily about the missed chances or, going forward. We should never have been in that position.
Yeah.
We should, the defense should have done so much better. David De Gea should have, we already said before the show that Harry Maguire, when you are captain of Manchester United, of any club, and you have that opportunity, you don't need to communicate anything. You put your laces through that ball, and then we would have been 2-2, and it would have been a lot better. So I think that there was just issues all over the pitch tonight.
It's
you're dead right, Mark. You're dead right.
A point that I really want to ask you all about. We'll make this one of the last talking points. We talked about the midfield, which is where I said we lost the game tonight. How much did we miss Fred, lads? Did we miss him? That's all, because I'll give my opinion, but you guys let me know.
Yeah, I think we did. I think we did completely. Like, Fred's a firecracker, and he has been bar the last game. He's been so good this season. I think we definitely needed them. We definitely needed that box to box to move the ball forward, and I still think we were good enough to get a result that we needed today. I don't even think it comes out to the fact we missed them, but like, we did need him today. We fucking really, really needed them, and it's his fault that he isn't there, not anyone else.
Of course,
I'm not Fred's biggest fan, but even I think we missed him tonight. We missed his energy in the midfield. He would have hustled those guys, and I think, as Mark mentioned earlier, Leipzig always looks like an extra man in midfield, especially in the first half.
Temmie's here. No, you can't burn that shirt.
Yeah, it's not happening. No. It's coming to you. It's coming.
A Christmas gift. It's going to be a Christmas gift for you, Temmie. Right, we'll go around then. Final thoughts. Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, look, this is where we deserve to be. I won't lie. If we can go from beating PSG away and then absolutely destroying Leipzig at home to losing to Istanbul, this is where we deserve to be. We don't have consistency, and we have to learn like a spoiled child. We have to learn the hard way, and that's just it. It's shit. It's misery, but it's what we deserve.
Mark?
I mean, I've not got too much else to say, to be honest. It was appalling. Hopefully it's going to be an absolute rocket up our arse to focus on the Premier League now. We've got a massive game this weekend where, City don't look particularly good, and I think that this is going to have a bit of a detrimental effect on our mentality, and we need to bounce back as quick as possible. It's a difficult one for me as well. You get put into the Europa League. Is there an opportunity to win it? Yeah, but I'm not quite sure at the moment that this team and this manager and these coaches can do that. And I feel that now we need to really just focus on the league.
Before I go to Barry, listen to Ben. Hit the like button, subscribe, and before we go off, I'll do some questions. Let's do that then. Barry, just final thoughts from you then before we go to the comments.
The Champions League doesn't lie. We got what we deserved. Yeah. Looking at European football, Man United at the moment are a Europa League quality team.
Yep.
So it's back to Thursday nights for us, and we will rue the missed chances. But something's got to give with respect to this. And I think that the coaching staff need to take a long, hard look at themselves for not only tonight, but for a few other performances recently. And I think that Man City, I'm a little bit worried to hear that Aguero is on the road to fitness again, because he's looking at that defense and he's rubbing his hands with glee at the thought of coming up against them come the weekend. But with this United team, you never know what you're going to get. And City could come along and we could thrash them. We just don't know what we're going to get. But we certainly need to start games better than we do, rather than waiting to go a couple of goals behind and then starting to play.
Yeah.
So I think that players and staff need to have a long, hard look at themselves. Not good enough.
Yeah.
And then here comes the big one from Temi. Are we making any progress?
Ask me against, last week. Yes. Ask me now. No.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
It's
this is the huge problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
1 week, and you said it earlier, Joe. You take one step forward and then 2 steps back, and to me, that's not good enough. Every time we feel like we're making a bit of progression, we're then got egg on our faces, and it's really frustrating now. As I said, I am not Ollie out. I am not Ollie in. I am going to support our club and I'm going to support our manager. But 2 years down the line, when you see this consistent inconsistency, it's poor, and someone needs to sit him down and say, look, come on.
I'm being told, there's a comment here from Sophie that PSG's game has been postponed now tomorrow. So we're all Istanbul now, aren't we?
Well, what we need them to win by how much, or what's this?
We just need Istanbul to win. I think.
Let's not even get into that.
It's not going to happen. But we can try.
While everyone's still watching, as soon as this show's done, Temi's not joining me, unfortunately, but we've got my second bromance, Joe, over here. He's going to be joining me for the player
silver
medal show. Silver medal. You can push yourself to a gold medal if you perform well enough. So yeah, make sure to come and join us for the player rating show. Get more comments in. There's loads of you in here. Make sure to like the video. What you're doing. Don't be lazy. Like the video. Don't be our midfield. Like the video with a bit of energy. Come on, get some questions in. There's what? Oh, head to head. It's not goal difference. What would that mean? Oh, I don't care. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Thank you, Jake.
If PSG lose to Istanbul, we're still out because they beat us 3-1.
There you go then. So we are out. Sorry, so Sophie gave me a bit of hope there, but no, I'm not going to say it. I'll say something else. Don't worry.
Yeah.
The closing thoughts are closing thoughts. Don't worry. There's loads of people, loads of you in here. Get us some more questions. Come on, we'll stay on. I don't mind. 1, 2, 3. What? 1, 2, 3, 1. We're out.
We beat him 2-1 and lost 3-1. So it is head to head.
Got you. Okay, so the head to head is not going to help us, but whatever. We've got a fan here. Love it. Loving this channel already. Exactly what I needed. Hey, that's what we're trying to do. Bit of balance. Yeah. Bit of balance. The comments are already predicting what I'm going to say at the end of the show. I'm not going to repeat what they're saying. Any other talking points then? What else did you guys make of it? What do you think deserves to be highlighted without going too much into individual player performances? Because that's what me and Joel will be doing. Let me think.
The main question I have, to be honest, is, and why is it always, and I think, Barry, that's your mic that is doing the weird noises. Why does it take us so long to get into games? I'm dying to know. I am dying to know. Why is it take us 25 minutes before we start playing football in every single game?
I'm just gonna mute Barry for a second because his mic's doing some weird things. Yeah, go on, Mark.
I mean, it's a whole array of things. I mean, it's very difficult to be able to dissect and say it's this or it's this, but I do feel that with the personnel that was on the field, like we said earlier, I think if I was going to say earlier, I think if we'd had Fred, he would have started probably instead of McTominay, and he's far more attacking minded than McTominay, and I feel like that could have been a little bit of a difference with us progressing the ball forward. And honestly, I can't. Every time in the last few games against Chelsea, against Brighton at the beginning of the season, against Arsenal, he insists on playing this double pivot with defensive-minded players, and we cannot get the ball forward. And I've got to be honest, it doesn't. It's happened more than once. So you've got to start to ask questions and think, well, maybe this is the problem. It could be lots of other things. It could be that the players just aren't in it at the moment. It could be that they have been affected by Pogba, whatever.
But Mark, let's be honest. That's not it, because it's every fucking game.
Yeah, exactly.
I respect what you're saying, like in the last part, but like every fucking game, every game. Why is it that we're 1-0 down against every away team? And like, the only. I can't remember the last time. I know the record is away from home. That's why I keep referencing that. But like the last time we were away from home, where we just won with a clean sheet or won without conceding first, I don't even know how long ago that is.
No, I
But
don't
like
know
it's
either.
an absolute. It's so fucking frustrating and mind-boggling as to why we go 1-0 down and then we wait 10 minutes afterwards and then we say, "Hey, actually, we've got good footballers. Let's play again." And that's what you're hoping to do tonight. But unfortunately, Nagelsmann, when he's not wearing a mad jacket, is actually a very, very, very good manager.
I like his jackets. I like his jackets.
Fair play.
I did actually like his red jacket too the first time. But
Right, everyone in the comments, I want you to like the video first. Make sure you subscribe to All for United. I'm about to close off the show, but one thing I want you to do, stay on the channel because we'll be going live straight after this video. Literally straight after, so don't go anywhere. So, closing thoughts then. Unfortunately, it ends in heartbreak. I thought we'd done the group. We were. I remember the preview to the first Istanbul game. We were saying 2 games, 2 wins, and we're through. Unfortunately, we did not do that, and we left ourselves too difficult a job to do. And away to Leipzig was always going to be difficult. Hardly anyone's beaten them at their place. So we left ourselves with too much to do. We came with the wrong approach. Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. First, we had injuries. Then we had the Raiola incident, and then we set up with the wrong team, and then we went behind in the 2nd or 3rd minute. And from there, it was a case of this is going to be an uphill battle. And that's where it turned out to be. I thought the game was lost in the midfield. Matic and McTominay were never going to work, in my opinion, and they were bypassed far too easily, which then left our defence exposed. And it didn't help that our defenders all had individually very bad games. So it was just a calamity of errors. All 3 goals could have been avoided, I think. However, they weren't, and we ended up 3-0 down. We showed good spirit to come back into the game. I thought Ollie made the right changes at halftime. He changed the system. He brought on the right players. He brought on the right defenders, and we sort of looked all right in the second half, I thought. It just came too late, and I thought the only change I could criticise him for was the left-back. Alex Telles shouldn't have gone off. However, that's no excuse. Yeah. We weren't good enough today. Even if we had gone 3-3, you'd have seen me very happy and hyper here, but I would have said we probably didn't deserve that, and we didn't.
Papered over the cracks that.
Exactly. Nagelsmann learned. He learned from what happened last time, and unfortunately, we've paid the price. So we're out of the Champions League. We're into the Europa League, and before I close off the show, I'm going to drop in a very familiar hashtag. If you follow me on Twitter, go do it on. Go follow everyone. Go follow everyone, and if you follow me on Twitter, you'll be familiar with it. I'm going to drop it in to the chat right now to cheer you all up because what's the point in being depressed? Someone can read it out for me. It's not wanting to, but there we go. We're going to win the Europa League.
Damn right.
Europa League, champions of the world. Rewind it. We're back. See you in a bit, boys.